This is a wonderful and really cheap guitar. This is an Agile model AL-2800 Deluxe. I'm guessing it's from about 2003. So Agile guitars are a private label. The Agile brand name is a private label that's owned by a company out of New Hampshire called the Rondo Music Company. Now, Rondo Music started out originally back in 1959 in New Jersey, and they were a retail guitar shop or music shop. And at some point, I don't know when, at some point they moved from New Jersey up to New Hampshire and had a retail store there. And in 1999, the owner, a guy by the name of Kurt Zentmeyer, started importing guitars directly from manufacturers in Korea and private labeling them as Agile. This is a brand name that he found. And originally, guitars were produced by Samick, and then at some point later on, they started outsourcing them to other manufacturers, including Cortec and Unsung Music and World Music. These are all big Korean musical instrument manufacturing companies. And originally they were just dead copies of Les Pauls, basically. They were even given Les Paul type numbers of the LP2000, the LP2500, or the LP2800, depending on the appointments. And since Gibson was a little litigious and basically put a cease and desist on him for directly copying the Les Paul guitars, they changed the shape a little bit. So Les Paul will typically have a little bit more pronounced horn here on the cutaway. This one has the horn kind of stubby. So that was the first thing he did. And then Gibson came back later and said in 2000, that was in early 2003. Then later in 2003, Gibson came back and said, we don't like that headstock. It looks too much like a Gibson headstock. So you need to change that too. So they changed it to something that looks like kind of like a comb over or a side part haircut or something. But anyway, so this one I'm guessing was from about mid 2003. So it was after they had stubbed off the horn, but before they changed the headstock. So the Agiles are really nice, good quality guitars, but they're almost impossibly cheap. I mean, they're like Gibson cheap. I bought this guitar secondhand, and it's a really interesting version of a Les Paul copy, if you will. Les Pauls typically are mahogany body with a maple top, maple neck, and otherwise the appointments are much the same. This guitar is solid ash through and through. It's got a full ash body, and actually it's got a separate single piece ash top. So a little unique. It's a pretty heavy guitar. I bet this thing probably weighs a little over 10 pounds. So it's pretty solid. It's got a maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, or at least some semblance of rosewood. Standard configuration of 2 pickups with a three pickup selector switch on it, volume and tone knobs. So very standard, like a Les Paul copy. So anyway, back in the pre-social media days, I used to participate in forums that were dedicated to various types of music and guitar playing and music industry of various types and parts. And I was when these first came out, right around 1999, 2000, people were buying them and just raving about how wonderful Agiles were and how they were just impossibly cheap. And I was curious. That that's pretty interesting. Not that I'm going to buy one. I mean, I was a Paul Reed Smith player and a Gibson player, and wasn't really contemplating ordering some guitar sight unseen, even no matter what people said about it. But then one of the members of the forum was in need of money, and he put a bunch of his gear up for sale. And one of the guitars he put up for sale was this particular Agile. And I thought, it was like $125 or something like that. It was very, very cheap. So I bought it. I told him I'd be a buyer for it. He sent it up to me in a case. And it's funny because the case he sent it in is like a really nice, it's like a Gibson case. It's like, I can't remember the manufacturer of that type of case, but it's like a $120 case. So I got the guitar for $5 and the case for $120, right? So, but it's an interesting guitar. Now, I when I first got it, the pickups that were in it, I thought were sterile at best. I really didn't like them at all. I thought they were just dead sounding. So I, not wanting to put a lot of money into a really cheap guitar, I went out to Guitar Fetish and got some GFS. Tried some gold foil pickups in it, which are kind of like replicas of the old European and Asian guitars from the 60s, and they tend to be a little bit squealy and tend to be, but they have kind of a unique character and kind of a cool sound for them. But these were Alnico 5s, I thought they'd be pretty good pickups. I put them in, and the guitar sounded not Les Paul-like at all. It's very jangly, as a matter of fact. It was I wasn't very fond of them. So, but they were fine for a while. But then I found a really good deal on some DiMarzio 30th anniversary pickups, and that's what I put in here now. And these sound great. Now, I did screw up the wiring a little bit. One of the volume controls doesn't work properly, so I think I have a little short in there somewhere I need to uncover and repair. But it's a great playing guitar. Now, like all Asian guitars, it's got a really thick polyurethane finish on it. You're never going to mistake this for a real Gibson. You know, it doesn't have the that nice finish on it, that nitrocellulose finish. It doesn't have a lot of the feel and the character of a real Gibson. But it's for what it is, it's very impressive, I got to say. So, here, check it out. So I think this is the neck pickup. I think it's got a really nice tone to it, you know. So if I bring in both pickups, you still have that nice. Bring in just the bridge pickup. Now again, it's not nice. These are no 57 classics, right? These are decent pickups. But they're not as obnoxiously ice picky to me, or as thin sounding as a lot of the pickups in the bridge position are. Especially if you overdrive it, I think it gets a really nice fat sound. So I got nothing really bad to say about this guitar for what it is. You know, I mean, Agiles are still around. Rondo Music is still around. They're only mail order now, so you can't, or internet only. So they closed down the retail end of their business. But they buy these guitars out of, at least back, this one came out of Korea. And, there's no extraneous costs or stepping on it in there. There's no distribution. There's no marketing. There's nothing. It's just they buy them straight from the manufacturer. They don't even put serial numbers on them. So very, very inexpensive to manufacture, and consequently they sell them for cheap. Right now, the prices from last time I checked are going somewhere between $300 and $800, depending on what you all want. They have a really wide variety of guitars, from this AL series to they got like copies of Strandberg, 7 strings, 9 strings, 10 strings, 12 strings. They've got all different types of guitars on their site. So pretty interesting. It's worth checking out if you're into inexpensive guitars. But I think the quality wise, I mean, I look at the build quality on this thing, and it is really it's flawless. I can't find there's no finish problems. There's no gaps. There's nothing. It's all perfectly put together, and it's very well done. So nice guitar, great cheap guitar. So there you go. That's my Agile story. So questions, feel free to ask. Thanks. Have a great day.